Okay, welcome guys. Today's session is on understanding and respecting cultural diversity within the workplace. So today we'll cover cultural diversity within the workplace. We'll discuss the benefits. We'll also address some challenges. We'll discuss types of culture, and we'll go into some differences that are out there as well, as to promote more understanding. And just a heads up, you guys are going to be quite involved today, so I'll be asking for your opinions and getting information from you guys too, as to contribute to the information at hand. So what is cultural diversity? We've got a few different definitions here that I've come across online. They're all a bit different. It's quite a broad term. So the first one is the cultural variety and cultural definition that exist in the world, a society or an institution. The second one is a bit more narrowed down. So the inclusion of people in a group or organisation. And then the third is quite vast, and I think it covers a lot of sort of what we'll be getting at today in terms of what culture is and cultural diversity. So lastly, we've got the existence of a multiplicity of subcultures and different value systems in a plural or multicultural society or other setting. So you might want a second to sort of ponder over that one. Then we'll move on.
Yeah.
Alright, so cultural diversity in the workplace. So a culturally diverse workplace will generally consist of individuals from different backgrounds, races, genders, ages, religions. So how may workplaces benefit from cultural diversity? Any ideas, guys? I've got a few to come.
I reckon if everyone's feeling comfortable with their identity, they'll be working more productive and more willing to share ideas and things.
Yeah, great. Yeah.
And understanding that people from different backgrounds have a different viewpoint on the same thing.
Yeah.
So like people who say there's only one way to do it are actually wrong, because it depends on what your viewpoint on the thing is, depending on how you grew up.
Have a good point.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks, guys. So we'll continue on, and we'll probably find that you guys will be sort of touching on what I say as well. It might be a bit of a crossover, but it's all good. So one of the benefits is a vast array of talents, skills and experience. So this can lead to greater innovation through the collaboration of individual strengths. Another is improved morale. So people are validated and regarded as important despite differences, boosting overall morale and heightening productivity. So, how can't this be a good thing? If we're open to individuals and their strengths and whatnot, then everyone's going to be able to work together better and feel validated, as Joe pointed to. And lastly, I've put enhancement of community relationships. So as communities become more diverse, so should working relationships, creating further prospects and opportunities. So if you really want to look at it from a business perspective, that's great too. It's going to be open to more growth and more possibilities.
It's like a networking.
Yeah. Continuing on. So I've also got some challenges. So we'll read through them and then we'll address them individually. So the first one, integration can be hard due to prejudices and negative cultural stereotypes. Professional communication may be difficult to understand across languages and cultures. Individuals from particular cultures may be less likely to let their voices be heard. Finally, working styles may conflict. So starting from the top. So anyway, yeah, how may we address such challenges? Starting from the top, integration can be hard due to prejudices and negative cultural stereotypes. How might we address this? Any ideas?
I think that's what Yuval was touching on before, understanding that not everyone is right about everything, and there are always other opinions and other approaches.
Yeah. Anything else to add?
I think also portrayal of groups of people in certain ways, whether you have contact with them or not, already gives you a defined opinion of the group of people, regardless of whether you know it or not to be true.
Yeah.
So, for example, still to today, a lot of people, whether they are Muslim or Hindu, that wear a turban, in certain circumstances will be eyed upon as if they're going to be doing something negative.
Yeah.
Which is not really true, and that's a prejudice which probably happens in the workplace as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So obviously there's a need for a greater understanding at times.
There could be some systems in place though as well which will remove the negativity with prejudice. I don't know whether it's just actually making people aware of that person as an individual and whether it's their culture or their belief system or whatever. I don't know, I guess getting to know them more personally.
Yeah.
And having systems in place where you can have that within the workspace, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of good answers there, guys. And I've also put down an answer that I've come up with, so yeah, it will probably coincide to an extent a lot of the time. So I put refrain from stereotyping people into groups and respect individuals on face value. So it's not a simple solution, but it's something that could be done to address such a challenge. And in respect to this first challenge, we've got a video. It's quite funny actually. Well, it's concerning, but it's also quite humorous, as you'll see. Just loading up now.
Hi there.
Hi.
Nice day, huh?
Yeah, finally, right?
Where are you from? Your English is perfect.
San Diego. We speak English there.
Where are you from?
Well, I was born in Orange County, but I never actually lived there.
Before that.
Before I was born.
Yeah, like, well, where are your people from?
Well, my great-grandma was from Seoul.
Korean. I knew it. I was like, she's either Japanese or Korean. But I was leaning more towards Korean.
Amazing.
Kamchatsina. There's a really good teriyaki barbecue place near my apartment. So I actually really like kimchi.
Cool. What about you? Where are you from?
San Francisco.
But where are you from?
No, I'm just American.
Really? You're Native American?
No, just regular American. Oh, well, I guess my grandparents are from England.
Oh, well. Hello, Governor! What's all this then? Dropping the ball to you? Yes, sporty! Double, toil and trouble! Mind the gap! Beware, Jack the Ripper! Bloody hell! Hip hip! Cheerio! I think your people's fish and chips are amazing. Really? Where? Must be a Korean thing.
What was it actually?
explains stereotyping and how it can be quite offensive, and obviously, yeah, we need to keep an open mind there. And any comments?
Yeah, I suppose where people are from nowadays is kind of a confusing question because people move. So it's like, where are you from originally? Well, I was born here, so I'm from here. But that can even then can get a bit mixed.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I heard a poem, a spoken word poem, like last year or something, from an Asian woman who grew up in Dunedin, and it was all about, you know, being in a market or something, and someone was saying, oh, where are you from? And she's saying Dunedin, they're like, oh no, where are your family from? And it was about how that kind of takes away a part of her, and it was like quite a, I don't know, it was a very beautiful poem, yeah.
I find a good way of asking that question is, you know, what is your heritage? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a bit more of an in-depth question as well, because where are you from is ambiguous.
That's right, yeah.
Especially
it's
today.
Specific. And you can be proud of your heritage too and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like, for me, am I really Israeli? I left it when I was 5.
Yeah.
So.
But it's part of your heritage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's not an ignorant question.
No, it's definitely not.
Yeah.
Ask
It is when you say it like that, though.
heritage, around heritage, as opposed to just where are you from? Such a blunt statement, ignoring a lot of details, facts, and respects to your identity in the life that you're living,
Yeah.
and who you're living around, and what that means to you within a civilization. Yeah. So continuing on. Professional communication may be difficult to understand across languages and cultures. How may this be addressed within a workplace?
Yeah, I guess there are like different protocols that people follow and different ways of approaching like negotiating deals and things, aren't there? Yeah. Like some people like to barter and some people just like to be upfront for prices. And
Understanding the other person as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I guess there's that whole cross-cultural communication sort of term that's put out there to work with particular circumstances.
Yeah.
But you know, someone may be in a workplace and the language that's spoken is a second language for them. So that's worth considering. Have you got anything to say around that idea?
Play more charades.
Yeah.
Or pick up as many languages as you possibly can.
Yeah.
It's kind of not really what you say and how you say it as well, I guess. Like if you, I know, like, yeah, if you're not quite understanding, if you read the other person isn't quite understanding, slow down and work with them, I guess. I don't know. Say it differently.
The most annoying one is, though, for people who speak a second language, talking with someone who speaks the language that is second or third or whatever to them. Then it's like, I've noticed people that speak the language the person is trying to communicate with, if they're speaking in broken, let's say, English, the person they're talking to will often start speaking slower, but also louder. Which is, I find it always being kind of an offensive thing. It's like, I'm finding it hard to understand, so thanks for speaking slower, but I'm not deaf, you don't need to shout.
Yeah, so I guess there's a big part around avoiding being patronising too.
That's right, yeah.
As far as cultural respects are concerned, which probably could have come up before too, really. And yeah, it's probably a bit of a theme really in terms of being respectful. So I'll put as my little answer to addressing this challenge. Incorporate the practice of asking for confirmation and opinions as to seek understanding. So have a practice within the workplace where there's nothing wrong with asking if you don't understand, and to consider sensitivity. So if someone does ask, it's not a joke. It's something to respect because of different cultural understandings, different backgrounds and whatnot, and everyone's just trying to understand so they can do the task at hand in the end, and you're actually helping someone out to learn more, and yeah, it goes both ways.
For sure.
Yeah, so anyway, we'll continue on. So the next challenge, individuals from particular cultures may be less likely to let their voices be heard. So about stereotyping, I guess, you know, that there are cultures where people aren't expected to let their voices be heard so much in the hierarchical sort of situation, in that position, and it might be a long-standing practice to not be so outspoken. You might come into a culture where people are encouraged to be really outspoken, and it's not necessarily a flaw, but you know, it's a difference that's noticed, and yeah, how might that be addressed?
Yeah, I think good leadership encourages a variety of opinions and a variety of people to express their ideas. Yeah, but I guess also teamwork as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be making sure people are in a comfortable position. So maybe if it was a big group, they wouldn't want to talk. But if you had individual meetings, one-on-one, then maybe that would be more conducive for them.
Yeah. So maybe it's more about just understanding how that individual functions best and respecting that. Working with that too. Yeah.
Recognising strengths there.
Yeah. So I'll put down one particular way of addressing such a matter, and put to sensitise managers to these differences as to make accurate attributions towards individual behaviour and promote understanding. So you know, maybe, you know, it's quite a contrast from what's expected in general, and actually needs to be brought to attention, so you know, someone isn't looked at in the wrong way in terms of their attributes, because yeah, you know, based on everything we've sort of said around people's strengths and what works for people, yeah, isn't always as easy to understand until it's maybe pointed out to the right person to deal with it properly. Yeah. Not that it's a weakness or anything, just, you know, to have that understanding. Yeah. And lastly, working styles may conflict. So, as Yuval pointed out earlier, you know, you may have two different individuals that have different beliefs, and it's been validated through their background and cultural understanding, and then, you know, and they kept practicing these things, and it's worked for them, and they work together, and they have two different styles, and there's conflict. You know, neither person wants to perhaps change, and it's very contradictory to, you know, achieving the task at hand in their individual sort of outlooks. So yeah, how might you address working styles conflicting based on cultural?
I think it's very situation dependent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you don't really have a one answer fix all for that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's quite a tricky one for me to answer.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I'm not saying that my answer is the answer. I'm open to discussion within different contexts if you've got any examples.
I think listening to the other opinion to begin with is important, as opposed to just thinking that the way you've been shown to do it is the only way it will work.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I can say that I've had that happen, that, you know, I've been shown one way to do it, someone's been shown another way, but because I'm doing it with that person, it's like, nah, it's only this way.
Yeah. And that might not be to do with being from diverse cultures, but just sort of, you know, individualism as well.
Yeah.
You know. So I have come up with a straightforward answer here, as, you know, a way that it could be targeted in a workplace, and I've put to set a standardised working practice that doesn't discriminate between cultures as much as possible. I mean, maybe this isn't always easy, but it's definitely something to perhaps work towards in some areas.
Yeah.
to achieve the goals of the task at hand, or a task at hand. Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's a good one.
So I've also put a few strategies to boost cultural diversity. Just to sort of wind up here. So you commit to enhancing your own cultural understanding. Actively look for new perspectives and ideas. Treat others how they want to be treated. I think that's a good one because we often say, treat others as we want to be treated. But people believe different things, and that's okay too. So sometimes it's not about how you want to be treated; it's about how the other person wants to be treated.
Yeah.
Observe traditions, celebrations, and holidays from other cultures. So there might be a particular client who's celebrating a certain time of the year. Could be a Chinese New Year or something, and it's means a lot to that person. And just by acknowledging it could mean a lot.
For sure.
Yeah, when it's not a big celebration within the country that you're in. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, just sort of opening, being a bit more open. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's have a break, and we'll continue on with the second half
Cool.
shortly.
Yeah. Here's the cake.
Alright guys, welcome back. So yeah, for the second half, hope you've enjoyed it so far. Thanks for your contribution, it's been good. Yeah, we'll commence. So I think you could all agree that education promotes understanding. So let's talk about types of culture. So I mean, you could probably go on, and there could be all sorts of cultures, with specific names, and you could create one. But yeah, I'll stick to just a few, and we'll discuss them just to sort of show you how broad culture really is. Yeah, so we've got high culture, subculture, popular culture, multicultural, global culture, and we'll go through each one. So, high culture. So, perhaps high culture is a bit of a sociological sort of term. I think there's a bit of sociological sort of study around it. Linked to those considered elite and upper class in society. Yeah, it's sort of a bit of a practice of social closure to enhance the status. It's not easy to become in high culture. You might be born into it, and people who aren't associated just aren't seen as deemed to be in the same class, on the same level. And this maintains the status quo. Got the prophet Ezekiel down there, and he seems to be quite strongly associated with high culture historically. So he's seen as the teacher of high ethical ideas. Someone might be able to elaborate on, I'm not the most learned in the area, but yeah. Have you guys got anything to say?
Well, I mean, with being cultured, if you look historically at, for example, the Romans, where they conquered, the European, the Germanic tribes, and then the Celts and all those, they saw the cultures they were conquering as being lesser, and them as being higher. So I think it is also a viewpoint of your own personal boasting almost.
Yeah.
As to whether your culture is higher or lower, yeah.
So in today's age, what may you consider high culture? Is there anything that sort of stands out?
I think it's changed quite a lot. since the rise of like modern economics, where people can make their own wealth and can, become the social elite just through that, just like the accumulation of wealth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I mean, I think there are also those who were of high culture or high caste. They were the elite and rich back then as well.
That's right. Yeah.
They were also most of the time they were the only ones which were educated. So the lower culture didn't actually have one because they couldn't
Yeah.
do
There's
it
a
in
really
that sense.
crossover.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, what you're born into.
Or the way that you have your culture is not necessarily the same way as they did, and so it wasn't seen as high.
Okay,
Which
yeah.
is still seen today in places, for example, like India, that still has a caste system.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Alright, well, we'll continue on. Thanks for that. That's good. So, yeah, we've got the subculture. So, culture enjoyed by a small group within society. This could be described as a minority group within a majority culture. So, in England there was the emergence of punks, sort of rebelling against society. Not really wanting to be told what to do, doing it their own way. And I'm sure you guys could come up with some other examples of subcultures.
Yeah.
hippies,
Hipsters and
Gogans,
Yeah.
arborists.
Arborists. Agriculturists.
Yeah, exactly, agriculturalists. Yeah, good one.
Playwrights.
So you
Surfers.
can identify with that. Joe, do you want to tell us a bit about that culture?
Oh yeah, agriculture just kind of follows a couple of key principles surrounding the wealth and wellness that trees can bring to us in our society, and how we should look after them, and plant more of them and look after
Great.
them.
Yes. Some good insight there for us. Yeah, thanks for sharing. Popular culture. So such culture is available to the masses. So it generally comes out of a media influence. So I've got an image here with all different characters. You could say The Simpsons is part of popular culture. The Kardashians.
Goku.
Yeah.
Darth
yeah.
Vader.
Apparently Goku.
Plumber.
Yeah, what would you guys consider popular culture?
Oh, mainstream media.
Yeah. Would you say that politics leads into that in general? Or I guess it depends on the level.
Feels like it does at the moment.
Yeah.
I feel like there's subculture within the political culture as
Yeah.
well.
Popular politics.
Yeah. Unpopular politics.
Yeah. So yeah, very broad once again. Open to subjection. Multiculture. So depicted to be very similar to cultural diversity. So I guess we've all sort of been leaning towards multiculture a little bit when we've been talking about cultural diversity. Yeah, so that's sort of acknowledged here as well, as I put. Yeah, so basically, culture concerning different ethnic groups living together. Yeah.
All of the new countries around the world, I guess, like New Zealand, Australia, and the States, and
Yeah.
Recently colonised places. Yeah, all massively multicultural.
Yeah. Global culture. So we've got McDonald's yet again popping up.
It's a brilliant photo.
In another country. Yeah, somewhere in Asia by the looks of it.
Oh wait, is that the McDonald's?
The Grand McDonald's.
No, like the building.
The only oh,
I'm not too sure. I just like the image, to be honest. But
it's a good image.
maybe so. Maybe so.
That's a McDonald's worth visiting.
So when the world becomes interconnected through globalization, patterns and trends emerge on a global scale. I mean, McDonald's has done this well. You might not like the food, I wouldn't say I love it, but you know, to the point where McDonald's within a particular country will take on board what food is popular within that culture. So, you know, you might not get rice at McDonald's here, but you'll definitely get it in some other countries around the world. It's a bit of a staple to what the diet is.
Yeah.
Any other examples of globalization leading to patterns and trends on a global scale that could be considered global culture?
Is that kind of how this should all work? And that, say, McDonald's has an idea about how it wants to do life, and it just goes country to country and accepts what the feedback is from that country, and then blends it on how they want to do life. So, you know, McDonald's in Asia blends it with some rice. They still want to promote their idea. They come here, have a Kiwi burger, still want to promote their idea. I don't know, like, is McDonald's like the perfect idea?
That's actually a good point.
Yeah, quite respectful really, as
Communication.
far as cultural diversity in one sense.
Yeah, they're not pushing fully everything onto this culture. They're listening to them and then feeding back. I don't know, having a bit of a two-way. But
Yeah, that's an interesting point, and yeah, I think that's very much the case. Yeah.
probably why they're so successful as well.
That's
Mm.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
Adaptive.
Chameleons.
Alright, we'll continue on. So, cultural differences. In a culturally diverse workplace, you'll come across many differences between individuals. Their culture will influence their individual needs and behaviours. So, some cultures will wear specific clothing at all times, such as turbans and headscarves. So, yeah, dress is something which will vary. So we've got a lady here, and she's wearing a headscarf. She may choose to wear that every day, based on religious background, cultural understanding, and you know, to get broader around culture. We've got another example here. You know, this guy, he could be heavily influenced by the hip-hop culture, so he's got a particular way that he dresses. Maybe a rapper, and he's fitting into that culture. And you know, it could also just be generations of age, you know, and what's acceptable to wear at work within a dress code. Yeah. Any examples? Any?
When do you not judge someone, or when do you like not have some sort of collective idea of how to dress? Like, if you want to have a team.
Yeah, why is religion more important than hip-hop music?
Yeah.
I don't know. I couldn't say myself.
We were having a discussion today as to whether or not to bring a chainsaw into the pub. We were just walking along with, oh, let's go to the pub. But my friend had his chainsaw with him. Oh, do we go into the pub with the chainsaw? or would we get arrested?
I suppose which pub you went into.
The Emerson, so yeah, sure.
They have enough drunken students that it'll be fine.
Yeah.
I think you explained yourself.
Yeah, but you know, like we're arborists and we have chainsaws all
Yeah,
the time. You know?
part of your dress code almost to have one by your side.
Of course, yeah.
Well,
Part of the outfit.
That's right.
Equally, I was walking down the street in my kilt and had my geology gear with me, so like
Yeah,
hammers
hammer
and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was worried that somebody might say something, but then it's like, oh well, Dunedin, nobody's really gonna care if I'm wearing a kilt, so it's fine. But the hammers, well, yeah,
So obviously we're sort of verging into stereotyping a bit at the moment.
yeah.
Yeah. Sorry to cut you short there, you better.
Don't worry, I stopped there.
So family obligations. Some cultures would have specific family obligations and needs to accommodate for these times. and a need to accommodate for these times around their regular working schedule. So I've got a Thanksgiving dinner here, and that is around the new harvest, and celebrating that, being grateful. And practice within America and Canada and parts of the Caribbean islands and Liberia. So there's often cultural significance to particular days that we might not understand and that are very important for particular people. Any examples? Perhaps someone could explain Waitangi Day or being in New Zealand.
Yeah. Up north you've got quite particular family hierarchies. You've got your grandparents and their mates, the kaumatu and the leaders, and they'll lead the family through. And you have to respect them. And I guess you have like different ways of approaching like funerals and things, and it's quite important to attend them, I think. Whereas it might not be in other cultures.
So work might need to be open to that. Because it's a strong need for an individual, and it might be a way of keeping employees too to respect these traditions. As opposed to not being flexible about it and saying you need to be at work. And, this culturally it's just not right, and it's not good for that person's well-being and whatnot to not allow them to celebrate or mourn on a particular day. Thanks, Joe.
Or like weekend in Māori culture.
Religious practices. Some religious practices may require time to stop for prayer during work hours, and days off for particular religious events. So here we have an Islamic man, and he's using a prayer rug. This may be practiced at work. I've seen it to be the case before. And basically the rug will need to be facing, if done traditionally, facing Mecca in Saudi Arabia. So it's like the holy place. And it will need to be used in a clean space. And there might be many times in a day where an individual will stop for prayer, even within work practices. So that's an interesting one to consider, how that could work in the workplace. And obviously worth respecting. We're going to stay open around cultural differences, which I'm definitely promoting. And here we have a Hindu celebration. I think it's Navaratri Day, and these are offerings for the gods, and it's basically a festival of worship and dance. For example. So customs, I've sort of gone down the food sort of track here, but obviously customs aren't all about food. Some cultures will have rules around what they can and cannot eat, drink at particular times or at any given time. So within Judaism, pork isn't considered kosher, so isn't considered fit to eat. It's a symbol of loathing, so it's not regarded highly due to that understanding.
It's also to do with historically, pork has a lot of diseases, and so if you would have eaten in the past and not cooked it well, you probably will have died.
Yeah, okay. Thanks, Yuval.
No problem.
Adding to that, obviously, you've all got your own understandings to contribute as well, and it's great to have us all here and having this open discussion.
In Māori culture, if there's a significant event in some place where you gather food, you enact a rahui where you avoid eating from that area. For example, in the bay, like if someone dies in that bay, you don't eat the food there until the spirits have passed. or if the food has been depleted in that area, like if there's not enough crayfish for a while, you just enact a rahui until the crayfish come back and you start eating it.
Cool.
And it's
Cool.
quite offensive if you disrupt the rahui. To some people, yeah.
That sounds resourceful.
It's good, yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
Would work.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They've been thinking about the ecosystem for a long time.
And there's places in East Africa where eating fish is taboo. In some of the southeastern regions, within Ethiopia and Somalia and Kenya and some other places. Yeah. And there's a lot of fish around, but yeah. It's, something.
That's also historical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you give us a bit more insight, Eva?
Well, so also in Judaism, you're not meant to eat fish that don't have scales, so
Yeah.
that translates to sharks and dolphins and all those types of things, even
Yeah.
if it's not really a fish. Also a lot of seafood, because if you think about back in the day before there was a lot of food safety concerns and actually medicines, if you didn't cook your food 100%, that it was totally dead, the things that had been living in the animal, because they would have been eating whatever they wanted, I mean, that would then be in you, and people couldn't really go to a doctor, get all the stuff fixed. So imagine pulling up some fish, and it's bound to have some parasites and whatnot, but you don't cook it fully, then you're bound to get that. And if there's like things like guinea worm and all those types of things lurking about, you're now infected, and it's easy to pass that on to other people, and so whole communities could basically die out. So yeah, a lot of
Great insight.
a lot of religious practices are to do from practicality, which
Yeah.
is quite interesting. So
Yeah.
usually around food, not really other things.
Thanks for that, Eva.
Oh, good.
Plenty of insight there. So we're going to have to sort of speed up a bit,
Sorry.
time-wise, but it's really good. I'm really enjoying the discussion. So social values, ideas around work ethic, wealth and personal growth will differ between cultures. The Buddhists believe that the greatest wealth is contentment, where perhaps someone on Wall Street wouldn't be so focused there, and more concerned with financial gain. Non-verbal behaviour, hand gestures, facial expressions, eye contact, and how they're interpreted may vary between cultures. So within Indigenous Australian culture, maintaining eye contact isn't considered a huge thing, where a lot of Caucasian Australians will be quite strong on good eye contact, so that's a mutual respect that needs to be had there. It can't be expected that the same body language is going to be portrayed. Yeah. A thumbs up. It's often portrayed as good on you, like a positive sort of thing in a lot of cultures, but in others it's actually very rude, and you wouldn't want to give people a thumbs up in particular countries. You can get yourself in a bit of trouble.
Such as?
Such as in Bangladesh and some Middle Eastern countries. It's comparable to giving someone the middle finger.
Wonder if they have Facebook.
So, are we just stereotyping now? Well, I guess there's a fine line as we look to understand one another. Got a video there, but we're out of time, so I'm going to have to keep moving. We do need to respect everyone as an individual with a unique belief system of one's own. So we're kind of veering towards that when we started talking more about traditions within different cultures. So just to tie things up, within a diverse multicultural society, it can be understood that various cultural differences exist. Therefore, we must look to understand each other's differing practices and belief systems respectfully as to work together. Just to conclude today, we've discussed the benefits and challenges of cultural diversity, types of culture, some cultural differences. You've all contributed really well, so thank you very much. Very good. It's been good for me, and I hope you've enjoyed the presentation and you've gotten something out of it as well. I've got some feedback forms for you guys to fill out for me, and the next session will be on communicating effectively with others, so it'd be great to see you there. Thank you.
Thanks, Simon.